All right, season 5, episode 9, Schizogeny. You know,
Schizogeny.
Schizogeny?
Schizogeny.
Schizogeny? No,
What was the other one?
What?
Syzygy? Syzygy?
Yeah,
Syzygy? Coprophagia syzygy.
I actually looked up this word on Google, and the literal only thing that came up is this episode. Like, over and over and over. I could not find a translation, a meaning, anything. Weird. Nothing. Okay. I looked down like 2 pages of Google and could find nothing except for like schizogenesis.
What is that?
Which I don't even remember what that said, but it was like nothing that made any sense to me. Oh. I was like, okay, so I don't know what the fuck I don't know what this name is. I don't know. Okay. If you got it, let me know. Anyway, all right. So this has Jesse from The Fast and the Furious in it, and he's being, what it appears to be, he has like this tumultuous relationship with his stepfather, who they make it seem like it's abusive. Yeah. But in the end, we find out that's not true. We also got Catherine Isabel in here.
Very young.
Very young. She's got to be 14 to 16, somewhere in that area. Yeah, she looked really young. I had to like look it up to make sure it was her. It was obviously her, but I was just like, well, she just looks so young. I don't know. At this time, I guess that makes sense. This is like 97. So yeah. Okay. I don't know when the Ginger Snaps movies are. I think those are early 2000s, so then she'd maybe be like a late teen in that time. That makes sense. Okay. Mm-hmm. Anyway, okay, so this, we got this mud. Killer mud.
Yeah. Well, it's like killer plants.
Killer roots. That are pulling them down to the ground. But
I'm confused about this episode because I don't really know what is causing it.
Yeah. Well, they said there's a blight. But what exactly is happening there? I don't really know. Mm-hmm. Maybe if we watched this again, we would have caught it. But maybe I wrote it down. We'll see. You know, it's been a little while since we watched it, but let's talk about it. So, one thing Mulder does that, and especially in this episode, that is always kind of eye-rolly to me, but funny because it's part of their dynamic, is Scully will come up with some kind of absurd scientific explanation. Yeah. And then he'll kind of laugh at her, smile at her, make some quirky little remark, and then she'll be like, well, I don't know, what do you think? And he's like so smug about like her scientific explanation, but then extends something as equally preposterous and then thinks it's absurd that she doesn't think that's probable. I find this to be like so funny to me.
They both have just such like wild theories on either side.
But that's just it. That's this whole show. Fun. It's like, you know, I get it. Scully wants to, like, what's the right word? I was going to say
compartmentalize.
Yeah. She wants to try rationalize. She wants to try to fit it into a nice little box that makes her feel comfortable with science. Yes. Right? And Mulder, of course, wants to fit it into his box that he's comfortable with, which is the supernatural. And both of them sound ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because some of these things, they just, you know, it ends up usually that Mulder is right or that there's at least a combination. You know, one thing with the show, I feel like they do okay, but I wish they would do a little bit better is if there was episodes where Mulder was right and Scully would acknowledge that, or that Mulder was right, or Scully was right, and Mulder would acknowledge that.
Or like when one of them was right, the other acknowledges it.
It really is just that scientific explanation that I came up with, or whatever. Yeah. And they do kind of do that, right? It's not that they don't. They do to a degree, because Scully will say stuff scientifically, and then that is what it ends up being. But kind of with like a little bit of a supernatural twist to it. I don't know. I just, yeah, anyway. So this kid is thought to have killed his stepfather.
Yeah.
So all the bullies in school, now he's dressing like a bad boy.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's how he dressed.
I don't know
before,
either. I think maybe it kind of was, but yeah, it's funny that he's trying to embrace it.
Yeah.
Which obviously, like, what ends up happening is that the therapist that he's seeing and the other girl's character is seeing, Catherine Isabel, is like the one that's actually doing the killing, because she's. So this is what I was confused about: that she's either possessed by her abusive father or possessed by like a spirit that is kind of, you know, like enacting revenge on her behalf.
I couldn't get a read
on
it either.
I'm confused about that.
I'm scanning my notes right now because I do think I wrote something down about that, but it was like, I don't, yeah, therapist, well, yeah, she makes him lie about the abuse. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't really know what's happening there, if it's like she's just mentally ill, but she's, you know, she's controlling the elements, and there's something supernatural going on here, so it's not that far of a stretch from that to say that she's being overtaken by the spirit of her father or something. So
no, yeah, but it's, you know, she's like trying to empower these kids for being like unhappy with their parents, which is why it's, you know, that's kind of, he's trying to embrace this, like, that nobody's gonna mess with him now. So but
as far as him like telling the bullies, like, maybe I'll kill you too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You got to use what you got, right? Like, whatever gets them to stop bullying you.
Yeah.
And these kids shouldn't be bullying him. But this is what we always talk about. This is something that irks me more than anything, is the bullies get away with it endlessly. But then when the kid fights back, they're like, what a psycho.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, why are the
why
bullies
is it okay
not
for the
a psycho?
to do it, but when somebody tries to stand up for themselves, it doesn't make sense.
It's so annoying. It's almost like people are aware and accept the pecking order of life, and that kids like that shouldn't fight back.
I do think
and
that
they're
that's
just kind of like, yeah, they're just kind of like a doormat for society. And then when they fight back, they're like, uh-oh, another Columbine.
Yeah.
Because those kids are just supposed to fucking take it. And the way they get back at us is by, you know, creating Microsoft.
Right. Like, look at my brains, now smart I am.
Yeah. I'll still never understand. It's mostly just because we, at our core, are very primitive in nature still. You know, we're not that far out of the jungle. And, you know, we very much look to the alphas in a social setting to kind of set the standard for like what's cool and what's acceptable. And, you know, because with school, I've always found it fascinating that the thing that you're there for, which is education, the people who are the best at it are the most, like, the least cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the only place on Earth where that is the case.
It's so
I don't know
weird.
any other place. Like, if you were to go to any other freaking, like, any other place, any other business, anything, and you were to find like the best of the best in that field, everyone would be looking up to them. They'd be like, oh my god, they would aspire to be them.
It's such a weird double standard.
Like, if you were to go into some science lab and you had the best scientists in the lab, everyone would be like, oh my god, he's amazing. He has the best this and that. Or if you go into a basketball court, Michael Jordan's going to be more revered than, you know, some lower level player that doesn't really know how to play the game. Of course, obviously, you're the best of the best. People look to you like, you're achieving the most out of what you're there for.
Yeah.
But for some reason, in school, it's the exact opposite. It's the people who are the dumbest fucking people that seem to be the coolest people in school.
Yeah.
And the smartest kids who are, like, thought of as, you know, scum beneath your feet. I'll never understand it. It really actually makes no sense to me. Anyway, there's a scene in this that is so fucking silly to me that I just can't believe it. Like, Scully comes in and is like, well, I could have performed the autopsy, or like, can I look over it? And the coroner's like, I did my work. And she like leans down and she looks in and she's like, oh, did you see this splinter right here? What's this? And he like comes down, he like looks and he's like, oh, what's that? What? What? This is the worst coroner ever. You didn't notice this big ass splinter sticking out of their skin?
Yeah.
Like, what? Not that would really honestly make a huge difference. It would just be like some evidence to put into a bag and be like,
but it
okay.
would make you question the other like work that they did, and like
of
if
course
you didn't notice that, then like what else did you not notice?
You're supposed to go over the skin with a fine tooth comb to look for any puncture marks, for anything to cause, you know, for the cause of death.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's so obviously there.
Yeah.
And the way he like comes in and like squints his eyes, I'm like, what, bro? You need to go to the ophthalmologist.
Yes.
ASAP. And she finds it like
so fast.
Instantaneously.
Like, oh, what about this?
Yeah.
Because she's just the best.
Mulder. Okay, I had made mention. I don't know if this is where it starts or if it's maybe before this, but after Mulder walks in on the dude trying to kiss her, pretending to be Mulder.
Yeah.
I feel like Mulder has now all of a sudden kind of flipped how he talks to Scully. Oh no, it is before this. It's in 2 episodes ago. Was it 2 episodes ago? No, it was a while ago. Actually, it was episode 4. Jesus. So we're like 5 episodes ago where he's like, you know, the best way to get warm is to get naked and get
Yeah, and now he like, when he like climbs up a tree or something, he's like asking her if it's turning her on.
Yeah, it's boyish, like agility.
Yeah. He's definitely a little more flirtatious.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. And we get like no reaction from her. She's just kind of like blank faced on it, and then that guy shows up like 1 second later.
Yeah.
Who ends up being the one that like helps them out. He seems like he's the threat, but he's also ends up being the guy who helps him out. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so caretaker chops off her hand, and then I said, not sure who she's possessed by or possessed with or whatever. I don't know either.
I don't know either. I'm really confused about all of that because she was like abused as a kid, and also the guy, the like groundskeeper, I thought that was her dad for a moment.
No,
but it's not. I mean, I don't know why he knows what's going on. I definitely feel like this episode we don't get like enough of an explanation for like the how of what's happening.
Yeah.
We need a little bit more. I mean, it can be pretty open-ended. There's definitely a ton of episodes where, you know, there's not a very solid explanation, but I think this one needed a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, with that, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It is fairly confusing.
She gets decapitated.
Yeah.
Mulder gets sucked into the mud, and he's like, fight it! Trying to get her to fight it, and she does not. And then the groundskeeper comes up and is like,
yeah.
And then she gets sunken down into the mud, and that's that.
Yeah, the groundskeeper's pretty badass.
And he just like walks away.
Yeah. But I have no idea why it's happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's that. All right. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.